Hello everybody and welcome to the next edition of the Lockdown Interviews. We've got a great guest today, so a coup you might call it. So we've got Brad Burton, the founder of 4 Networking. The last time that I did an interview with you, Brad, it was about one of the books that you just published. This one's going to be a little bit different because what we're doing at the minute is we're interviewing people that have gone down what can only be described as the craziest quarter in business history.
No question.
No doubt there's going to be a few more interesting quarters ahead of us. So, Brad, great to have you on the show today, buddy.
Thank you so much, John. But, we've got a great energy, and every time we speak, that great energy comes out. When you put something on social media the day from the last interview, oh, that guy sounds amazing. That guy, by the way, was me. And I just thought to myself, you know what I mean? The ego was landed. But no, it was lovely, great energy. And let's carry this on with these lockdown interviews because it has, as you say, been a strange time. Last time you spoke to me, we was running 5,000 face-to-face business networking meetings each and every year across the UK. 5,000, not anymore. It's all fell off.
So those of you that do know Brad, you'll obviously know him as the owner and founder of 4 Networking, which is, correct me if I'm wrong, the largest joined-up business networking group in the UK.
It was.
Running 5,000 meetings a year.
We did.
I love talking to businesses like you, especially in the lockdown interviews, because 23rd of March, your business was just pulled from underneath you.
Yeah, you know what's great about this is I've got some resilience based on my Salford Street kid sort of background. In that, I've lived on Tesco's beans and waffles, right? It's cool. What I mean by that is like it's not like if I had to go back to living above a masonette above a chippy, it's like okay, well I had a good run. But you had a £1 million plus business that went kaput overnight, lockdown, and it was like shit. Okay, what do we do? And I tell you something, we've moved so fast. I don't know a team that has moved as fast as us. It took 3 days, 72 hours between the minute that we realised that this was locking down for us to get up and running. And we took 4 Networking. I started our own business, another new business off. You had to, because let's be quite clear here, who knows from a limited company perspective what was going to go on. So my 14-year business, that got put on hold, literally put on hold. And what I mean by that is we trimmed every cost down that we could, and then we took 4 Networking, the business network, 5,000 meetings. We took it online, so it's now at 4nonline.biz, and we separated the business. Yeah, it's interesting times, but we didn't panic. And from my latest thinking, this is something that Bentley Global use for when it comes to making decision processes. And actually, there is a reason that Bentley Global use it is because I taught it to me, Brad Burton. And actually, the way that I make decisions is that I'm the easiest person in the world to sell to. I'll make a decision in 24 seconds. If I can't make a decision in 24 seconds, I'll revisit in 24 minutes. If I can't make a decision in 24 minutes, I'll revisit in 24 hours. If after 24 hours I've not made a decision, I've just made a decision, it's not important enough next. And actually, this is what we did. We took everything, we moved as fast as possible, and I beasted my team, and it was nasty, really, when I look back at it. But I was doing it for everyone's benefit, and I described this the last 3 months as a friend of mine, and it's a strong metaphor, but I'm going to share it. It's a bit like running down the stairs at the Twin Towers on September 11, 2001. I'm tired, I don't give a fuck, keep running. And actually, that's what we had to do. And we're through the other end of it now. We, as a business, are out of ICU. And actually, it's going to take time, and I recognise that. And I think, having run a business for 14 years, and bear in mind, I'm 47 now, that's like half of my adult life I've devoted to one business. It's like, that's mental, sorry, half, a third of my life devoted to one business. But you can look at it through 14-year-old eyes and get frustrated with where we are now with this online stuff. Or you can go, you know what, it's a 4-month startup, Brad. What you've achieved, you've got thousands of members, this, that, and the other, you've got hundreds of groups. Honestly, stop it. And this is where people go wrong in life. They spend so much time wanting to go back to a place that no longer exists. And actually what we need to do is all accept that it's going to take time and start looking forward.
So those of you that haven't spoke to you before, I haven't even asked him a question yet. And we've already had 5 or 6 analogies. No doubt we'll get some more. Right, so first question for you. Let's take you back to early Jan. In fact, we'll call it mid to late Jan. We saw this flu over in Wuhan. We saw it potentially moving about the earth, and all of a sudden we had this sense that there might be some cold virus going around. When did you realise that it was going to have a big issue commercially?
Right, I was on this one. I listened to LBC while I was driving around the UK, and I remember interviewing a guy from Wuhan who got it and talking about the thing. Now, I'd played enough computer games in my life. I'm a computer gamer, right? I always have been. I continue to be so. And I played enough computer games in my life, and I see what happens. You know, these games show these intros where everything's normal, then a pandemic hits, then you've got the martial law, then riots, then you've got people doing, compounds and this, that, and the other. And actually, I see this coming. So I thought it could have gone that way. I thought genuinely, and it wasn't me being paranoid, because my wife's going, oh, what are you panic buying for? I was panic buying before anyone else panic buyed. Trust me, like genuinely, like I was like 3 weeks ahead of anyone. I swear to you, I dropped 400 or 500 quid on stuff. Right now, the fact is that I can afford to do that. How cool is that? Because the old days, I couldn't afford to do that. I didn't have a pot to piss in. I'm talking get paid on the Monday, skint for the next 7 days. So I'm in a strong position. So I did it. I started panic buying. So I clocked it. But where I thought this might go, I thought we might have civil disorder of a level. And I tell you, there was a time throughout this entire thing, and I don't know when it was, because that whole 3-month period is a blur, and I'm going to get to it in a bit. A blur. If you said to me, what did you do to turn your business around in that first week? I've got no idea, John. Like, genuinely, I was on autopilot. It was like my training that kicked in. But I was on this well before the media were on it. I was like proper on it. When there's no cure, when there's no kind of lockdown, then guess what? This is going to get to us. And what really disappointed me, was when the first cases came back to the UK, and they was in that coaches, and they had all the PPE on, the police or whoever it was, the ambulance, and the drivers just had a fucking seat. They didn't even have a seatbelt on, and they've got a tie on. And I'm like, what is going on? Are you taking this seriously, or are you not? Make your mind up. And that was, to me, that kind of that vision of seeing the guy in the PPE, the ambulance or whatever they were, the medical team, and the driver at the front, full of people. I'm thinking these guys ain't taking this seriously. At which point I recognised that this was no two ways about it was going to go off. How stupid can you be?
And look, there was a couple of numbers all of a sudden started escalating really quickly. So that obviously had a massive impact on your business overnight. Lockdown happened, 23rd of March or whenever it was. And then, your business has just pulled from underneath you. So talk to, if you can remember that first week, what was going through your head? What were you doing?
I did a video and I said, I got ahead of it, but I knew the lockdown was coming. So I got a video. This was the last day before, the last day I was in the office before I decided to call it a day in the office. But anyway, so I got a film team in and I did a video. I said, right now, if you're watching this video, we have been locked down. That means that the network is no more. And what's going to happen over the course of the next few days, the next few weeks, is going to decide whether this phone networking continues beyond this. I, as founder and managing director, I'm appealing to every phone networker. It's the honest they've ever been to show you. So I did that, and it was the most honest thing, because I had nothing to, most people in business are giving it the big one. Everyone's trying to front off, right? I didn't. I went the other way, and I went super honest. And actually what happened is I believe that what I did, and the only reason I believed this is because people were telling me, people who had never had any contact with were saying, you're really giving us hope right now. And I didn't realise that that's what I was doing. I got a daft phone networking beret on, got us into a war mode, and actually said, we're going to get through this. And I didn't even realise, but I took the role of the internet sheriff, albeit on my 5,000 followers or whatever, right? And people were seeing leadership there. And that's what leadership is about. And, I got a friend of mine who's an SAS man, and he taught me something. He says, you cannot delegate responsibility. You cannot delegate responsibility. And what that did for me is I realised that there was no cavalry. There was no cavalry. No one was going to, no one was going to rescue us. People were looking towards, come on, Boris Johnson, come on, fix the country. Yeah, he's got COVID. Come on, Rishi Sunak, you need to do this, that, and the other. And people are wasting the time looking for these handouts, which when they come, great. If they didn't come, we didn't get a single grant. We didn't get a single grant, none of this. We managed to avoid everything because of the nature of it. So we was on our own. So it really was a case of me getting my computer games training back in there and saying, right, what does this make possible? I got a blank piece of paper. It's knocking about somewhere genuinely. Blank piece of paper. I was going to find it at hand. Blank piece of paper. And what I did is I specced out the business plan for networking online. I can see it. For networking online. And actually, that's what I always ask. Get a blank piece of paper. If you're watching this right now, blank piece of paper, right at the top, what does this make possible? And just write. And then when you've written a load of stuff out, go and get a pen, highlight a pen, and go and highlight 5-6 things. That is where your future lies. That's where your answers lie.
And if you look at the Chinese proverb, which is really interesting for crisis, it stands for 2 things. Danger opportunity.
Oh, right.
And like you said, one of the things, it was really cool, well, I say cool, to observe for a few weeks at the beginning. And the biggest thing that I probably witnessed was paralysis. Lots of people just looking at a computer screen, looking at a TV going...
Not from me.
What am I going to do?
So there's two things going on here, and people who are viewing this right now is this lion. A lion's job is to sit in the village or wherever they're called and wait for the shit to hit the fan. Somebody comes in, the lion goes, you know what, I've been 23 and a half hours sleeping on my ass while all the women run round. And actually he comes up and he protects the pride and he goes back. Now, here's what happened. I've got symbolism of lions, right? Lions and eagles, right? That's my thing. And actually, what happened was I was in lion mode for 3 months. Everything was a fight. Everything was a fight. Everything was a fight. And actually what ended up happening, going back, what we're in now, so 5 weeks ago, I ended my first, just a week before lockdown, I got my mum round. I've not seen her for 3 months. She came and seen the kids and all that. So she came here. I dropped her off on the Saturday. She stayed over, dropped off on the Saturday. 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I went for a lie down and that was it. I couldn't move. Physically couldn't move, aching, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And what happened, then it took me 20 seconds to walk to the toilet, would normally take me 3 or 4 seconds. I turned into an old man like that. And here's what happens. You know, prior to all this, I'd go in my gym, I'd train, I'd have proper nutrition, shit's hitting the fan. I know what, the nutrition's not working anymore. Red Bull, boom, perfect. Coffee, 6 of them a day, Nespresso machine, boom, 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 boom. Now, when your Red Bull stops working, when your coffee stops working, what you're left with is adrenaline. So I'm working on adrenaline, right? Now, if you go back to, I remember seeing footage as a kid, you know, World War I, people who'd come back shaking, chill shots. You're going, what's going on there? What, the war's over? Why are they shaking? Because your nervous system has burnt out. That's what happened to me. I was in that, remember what I just said about the Twin Towers thing? You know, imagine doing that for 3 months. I was in a war zone. And actually, I needed to be in a war zone to get my business through. So that took me a week. I'd had not a nervous breakdown. It wasn't that. I don't know when I'm in 2012, right? But it was a burnout. And I tell you, and I've done some research since this point, in that when you go and have an operation, what they do, if you're going to change a kidney or whatever, some organ, they give you cortisol, adrenaline, which is to give you stress, puts your body in stress, because it shuts down all the internal organs and normal defense mechanism. So what happens is when you do that, they put you in distress. Otherwise, your body rejects the organ. That's what I was doing. I was adrenaline. It's like when you see someone outside a nightclub with a t-shirt off saying, fucking come on, right? It's because the adrenaline's taken over, logic's gone out the window, and that's what I was running on adrenaline. And when that runs out, it is a bit like a sports car. I don't care how good your Ferrari is. If you've got no oil in it, whether it drives slow or whether it drives fast, you're ruining the engine. That's what happened. Now, this is me. I am Mr. Emotionally intelligent. I'm on this stuff. I had a nervous breakdown. I know how to avoid it. I fear for most normal business owners because they don't have a support team around them. Like me, I've got thousands or hundreds of people around me. I've got a big team, you know, and actually I'm emotionally intelligent. I'm a motivational speaker. I'm supposed to see these things, yet I didn't see this. It snuck up on me. I ambushed myself.
A lot of people listening to that will have had a goof moment because I've spoken to so many people, even clients that I've been working with, and they have done really well. But at what cost?
Mate, and this is it. There's a cost, and this is what the thing is with this COVID. We're all worried that we think the fight is going to be fought in the NHS, in the wars, the Nightingale wars. But let me tell you where this fight has been fought emotionally, right? Mentally, spiritually, financially, right? Fear is there. It's acerbic all day long. And I tell you something, when you've got adrenaline, you know, you are bulletproof. Nobody messes with you. That's why soldiers can do these things. Because adrenaline takes over, and that's when you do stuff which is unthinkable to a normal person. And actually, this is what I had to do. And this is what, when this is all over, and it will be over at some point, and I tell you, I'm almost seeing it right now. When it's all over, there's going to be a column, and on that column is going to be losers, big losers, winners, and big winners. And actually, my intent is to be absolutely on the winner side of that. And that's the direct result of decisions. We run networking events, you know, there's networking groups that are still thinking about what they're going to do. Well, we're not sure if we're going to take it. What are you doing? Because whilst you've done that, I've got a national network built with thousands of members, and you're still thinking about what you're going to do. And that's that paralysis which you talked about, John.
And there's so many people still in it. Just sat there still in it. And we're waiting
for grants.
So 23rd hit, business sort of wiped from underneath you. You made the decision, you go online. So now you're building the network back up from an online community perspective. Where's full networking going in your eyes? So you take it every day at a time.
No. You know what? This is that question there. Now what? Reversed. Right. The only time people ask now what is when the shit's hitting the fan. You've just been made redundant. You've just been furloughed. You've just lost your marriage. You've just, got someone pregnant. Whatever. Right. The only time that you ever ask that now what? I since 2016, I've been asking that question well before. So that when the shit hits the fan, it's like soldiers. I told you about SES mentors, right? When the shit hits the fan, they're not going, oh, what do we do now? They've drilled it a million times. They know in the event of a sniper, you go that way, boom, 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 we lay down suppressive fire, fall back in, boom, right? There's no point in trying to work a strategy out when the shit's hitting the fan. So I'm on this thing. So I'm way ahead of it. Current thinking is, I was thinking maybe we get back in September, October, start doing the normal network. That ain't going to happen. So here's what's going to happen. I've separated the businesses. 4 Networking Limited, 14 years. That's maintains. I could have thrown it in the bin and got rid of all the debt. That's not me. I didn't do that. Every single individual that we owed money to has been paid off. That's me. And actually, I'm not a guy. You go type in your favourite guru and type the word scam afterwards and see how many records are coming. Type it with me. See how many records come up. 0 on thing. And I've got a good legal team. But no, the reality is, that was a joke, by the way. The reality is, now what? Now what? Now what? The reality is, making myself laugh.
We'll keep it in. Let's not get edited out.
No, totally. The reality is that what I'm going to do is I'm going to start doing pop-up groups. Bam, 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 bam. Just keeping those smatterings of 4 Networking moving again. So it might, in the old days, it was like you meet there every second Tuesday or every day, blah, 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 blah. Not going to do that. We're just going to have smatterings of groups that I'm going to pop up. And then, if there's 20 people there, hi guys, I'm booking for the next one. Are you going to come next time? 100%. Not sure. Okay, so we've only got 7, in which case not bothering. And actually start saying, so let the feet dictate whether this thing continues as is or not. It's going to require a time. I said it from the outset. It's going to require time. And actually, people that want it to go back to the way that it once was before COVID, you live in cloud fucking cuckoo land, right? The world has changed and you want to go back to a place that no longer exists. When I first moved down from Salford, Manchester, back in 1995, I got shot at. And I moved away from Salford. I did. Right, true story. It's not a joke. So I moved away from Salford, Manchester. I know people are going, where's the punchline? These not. I got shot at. So I moved away from Salford, Manchester, right? And I moved to Somerset. And I remember walking down Western Supermare High Street and I had no one to kick a can back to me. I literally kicked a can in 1995. And I always remember it's like a boomerang, 3 seconds. I could see it over and over again. I had no one to kick that can back. And it put me on a road of about 2 or 3 years of depression. Fluoxetine, Prozac, being depressed, and I look back now at 47 and go, what was going on there? You know what was going on there? I wanted to go back to Salford, Manchester, the way that it once was. My Coronation Street, my friends, the girlfriends I had, I want to go back to the time before the gunshots. Impossible. And we spend so much time in our life wanting to go back to a place that no longer fucking exists. And this is the problem that we've got. And right now, people want to go back to the way that COVID was before it existed. I've just lost an office. I've just lost staff. I've lost £1 million plus business. But you don't see me crying myself to sleep, right? What this is about is what does this make possible? And if you're going to waste time and energy bitching about COVID, well, the government should have locked down earlier. Yeah, they should. But let me explain something. I'm going to let you into a little secret now. Your politicians, Rishi, and Boris and all the rest of the politicians, they're humans like me and you. Right? Did you panic personally when the COVID situation thing hit? Yes, you did. Did it put you under immense stress? Yes. Did you start getting your blood pressure raised? Yes. Did your heart rate start going up on your Fitbit? Yes. Well, guess what? So did theirs. So people need to stop being this recrimination about fucking government should have done this, that, and the other. The reality is it was a fast-moving situation, unprecedented. I'm 47. I've never seen it. A friend of mine's 70. He's never seen it. Right? So unless you was born in 1908, you ain't seen it either. So this is the thing. We need to start being more community-minded in what the approach that we take in and stop beating people up for mistakes they've made. I say this about decision-making process. A mistake is only a mistake after the event. Up until that point, it's the correct decision. No one, including me, wakes up and says, I'm going to go fuck up today. Never once. But on occasion I do. But here's the great thing about making mistakes. And this is why politicians, unfortunately, never succeed. Because when you make a mistake, get him out! We want him out! In my world, I make a mistake, I go, okay, what did I learn from that? Right. and I can do it better, because that's what an expert is. An expert is someone that's made all the mistakes in a particular niche field. If you want to be considered the expert in business development, you've had to fuck up. And remember the first time that you ever went to a meeting, I bet you'd had a fucking tie on and all that, and your matching socks, you watch The Apprentice and all that. And now, look at it. Now you're flowing with it. But when you first thought, you thought that's what you needed to be a success, or to be a business owner. You know what you need to be a success and a business owner? Is you need to buy something for 50 pence and sell it for £1. That's it. Nothing to do with the car you've got. And I realise this now more than ever before with this COVID situation. I've not got an office. But for when I first got it, I'm getting this office with all fucking glass fronts and spinny chairs and thinking that that's what success is. Bullshit. You know what success is? Sat here on my ass with my pyjamas on at home and my kids are downstairs. That's what success is.
Right. Let's sum this up. I'm going to give you the microphone for 5 minutes. I want to know what you've learned about yourself. Because you're a fairly reflective guy, right?
Oh, 100%. And it's amazing, because I think it's all those years of drug taking that has allowed that. And I mean that. You know, I say this about drugs. I wouldn't want my kids doing it, but what I did in the past was great fun. Like, and people go, oh, you can't say that. I've just said it. Do you know what I mean? And but so many people, look, you know, when I come on stage and I speak at the highest level in the UK, like genuinely, I don't know a single person in the UK that speaks as a motivational speaker as a higher level as me. No one. And every time that I've ever done that, JCB, Bentley, Zero, Snap-on Tools, billion-dollar businesses, right? Billion-dollar businesses hire me. Right, and what people may or may not know about me: 4 years on benefits, addicted to drugs twice, dad left when I was 6-month-old, got shot at 21, no qualifications, delivered pizzas at 31. Or am I Brad Burton, the guy who's written 4 books, the motivational speaker, the guy who founded 4 Networking? 2 sides of the same coin, but we're so focused on showing everyone the good side that we try to hide who we really are or who we once was. I've never done that. I would not be much of a motivational speaker if I'd not been shot at when I was 21. And this is the thing, is that you say about being reflective, I'm 100% reflective. And I do believe it's when I look at my life and I think how far I have come as an individual. And I believe that the way that we think about the world is almost like your brain's an operating system. The way you look at the world's an operating system. You know, I wouldn't have Windows 95 on my computer, but I can guarantee that there'll be some 1995 thinking in there that you still keep hold of because you like Minesweeper. And so many people do that. And it is all about this. The Brad that you see now in front of you, John, at 21-year-old would be unrecognisable. You know, what are you looking at? Not bad, right? You wouldn't recognise me. But
people listening to this down south will still think you sound like that, buddy.
So, proper.
So what are the 3 things? You reflect on it, and look, it's not over, and it's not going to be over for a while. I hate the term new normal, but we're sort of moving with the time, and we're not really. There's still lots of uncertainty.
Yeah.
What are the 3 things that you've personally taken from it? Whether that's a personal thing or whether that's a business thing.
The importance of having a nice home, having a home which you want to be there with people that you actually want to be with in your life. Because right now, if you're in a situation where you're at home with some fucker who's doing you nothing and you really don't want to be there, guess what? I think it's probably time to start considering where you live.
I think I know you say that as a throwaway comment, but that's so true.
No.
I would hate to see the suicide rates over the next 12 months.
Let me tell you something, right? So I talked before about adrenaline, okay? When you see a millionaire, billionaire, pop star, global DJ off themselves, and this has got me thinking, right? Off themselves, you go, what is he just in? He's got 100 million in the bank, this guy, Tiesto or whatever his name is. 100 million. He's got all these women. He's got all these houses. He's got a global date, and he's topped himself. What the fuck is going on? I'll tell you what's going on. Adrenaline. Adrenaline's going on. We have a finite resource of adrenaline. Imagine it like a fuel gauge, right? And once that goes, you end up in situations like me. Now, if all you've got, and here's the thing, the reason I stopped doing drugs, John, is because I run out of money. Right? So now, and this is the thing, I got to that point where I'm at a point where I'm either stopping doing drugs or I'm going to go and nick my mum's Hoover and sell it at cash converters. Right? Now, if you're young and you've got unlimited funds and you're burnt out and you've not got a support team because you can't trust people around you because I can see why people do it. I've never considered, twice actually, 8 seconds a piece I wanted to off myself in the in the early days when 21, 22, when all the pressure was on me, I didn't see a way out. So therefore, right. So literally 8 seconds had gone, right. But when I look at people, like I say, people with big money and the world at their feet, and they do it, I can understand why. It's that adrenaline. You have to look after your mental health throughout this time. There you go.
First one then. So the first one is take care of this first.
First one, I think the first one is make sure you're home. Make sure where your home is where you want to be. I think the second one is this is not a fight that is going to be fought solely on the NHS Nightingale Awards. It's a fight that is going to be fought emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially as well. And I think you need to accept that it's going to be on these. It's going to be on all these fronts, but also this is a fight that is going to be won not on stamina. Sorry, not on strength, but on stamina. Because in the old way of Brad, I'm a fucking big hitter. I'll go out there. My intent is I'm not getting paid by overtime. Get the job done fast and get out of there. That strategy would have left me failing. And actually, this is a prepare for a fucking long fight. So that's number 2. Number 3 is there's more to business than business. I've surrounded myself by a smart team, a team that I trust implicitly. And I've now just appointed 3 directors. First time ever, we have a 4 networking female managing director in the form of Pippa Hodge. She's actually an exceptional lady. And she started with me 3 years ago with Brad Burton. She was a business development manager. She then became a director of Brad Burton Limited. She's now female version of 4 networking online. The great thing about that is it's a different set of skills. It doesn't need me to be parading around 23 and a half hours a day looking for fights. The war is over. The war is over, Brad. And actually what you need to be is this guy that sleeps for 23 and a half hours and is only deployed when you need to be the lion.
Love that, Brad. And as always, it's great spending half an hour with you, buddy. It's always great. So, look, because there's lots of people, the majority of people listening to this will either be in business development or they'll be running their own businesses. High majority of those in the SME sector. So networking is really important. I don't mind saying I avoided networking like the plague. I didn't like going to a breakfast meeting and necessarily spending 3 hours with people that. John,
let me just jump in there. This is, take the term networking away. This is about contacts. At some point, I met you. I don't know whether it was in 4 networking, online, whatever. That's networking. Because actually, if I didn't like you and you didn't like me, I'd be busy today. That's a reality of it. And no, but I would. Right? Yeah. So networking, and I think this is it. It's a conversation. That's what we do. We facilitate ease of the conversations, because the reality is that this is one of Steph Thomas's, the network director for networking. Every big opportunity starts with a small conversation. Now, for every time that you go to a 4 networking and you go along there and you come away empty-handed, you don't come away empty-handed. You learn a bit about yourself, and I promise you, there's more people at that 4 networking meeting that will be interested in you and your business than you's waiting for your phone to ring. And this is where people get poncy. And what I mean by that is you go along there and go, I'm looking for high net worth individuals. There's none here. And I'll say, well, are you a high net worth individual? You say, no, well, do me a favour, piss off. I'm looking for high net worth individuals. So this is what people want to go to these networks that have got all their target market, but they don't want to be. This is bullshit. So once you recognise this, that it's not the person you're talking to, it's all the people they know. And actually talking to me, how many people in networking, if you didn't know who I was, would get me wrong and think, who's the builder?
100%.
Right, 100%, exactly. That's the thing. So if you're getting me wrong, how many other people are getting wrong? And that's the beauty of networking. Like I say, it's almost like a lottery ticket, but you don't win nothing by staying at home. But I do get the point. I understand it. And this is what I've got a challenge in that actually what your interpretation of networking is, I've got to go push against that and actually say, look, what we are right now is something for networking is fundamentally different. When I started off in 2006.
To be fair, you've been doing that since 2006, haven't you? You didn't want the networking world to be, no. I'm not going to name names, but we all know what we're talking about. You didn't want it to be like that. You wanted it to be less formal, right? A little more fun.
But not only that, but I wanted it to be enjoyable, right? If you go into networking, it's like fucking work. Guess what? That's work. You came out to self-employed to be your own boss, not to go into work and have to go and get So in political terms, you had the loony left of networking where nothing quite happened. It's all very nice. Shabley and Bollivant's talking about local parking provision in Angel Place Shopping Centre. And then you've got the hardcore, right, where's your leads, where's your referrals, you've got to attend, you've got to fuck off. Where was the mainstream of networking? It never existed until I created it. But once again, what does Brad know? He's just a northern monkey. He's thick as 2 short planks. 5,000 meetings later, 4 books later, UK's #1 motivational business speaker later. You know what? I think it's fair to say I'm not as thick as I look.
I agree with that. I couldn't tell how you on, boss. Right, so for the people that are sat here going, you know what, I need to be venturing into this virtual networking world. And it's going to be virtual for God knows how long, right? It's going to be, networking is going to have to be done online, and probably will be for a long time, right? Even when we can start meeting up, there's probably going to be these pop-up groups and stuff like that. So what's for networking all about, and why should somebody jump on a virtual meeting?
So real terms, right, is that we have changed the way that business networking is done. So if you imagine this right now, you've got 20 and 30 people on there, but you've also got groups. So you've got niche groups. There's actually a business coach group, which is great. So your business coaches go on there, talk best practice. You've got dog owners groups, but you've also got networking groups. I was at Nottingham and Derby this morning, 9 till 10:30. It is the most effective use of your time. We're a 90-minute session. No traveling, no parking, no petrol, no going through thingies. You teleport there through your system. People. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you an offer, free offer.
Here we go.
You can come along to a phone networking meeting completely free of charge, 1 month, up to 1 month from this being issued, right? This podcast, whatever that is, 1 month from this point, I will let you come along to a phone networking completely free of charge. All you've got to do is email hello@bradburton.biz, subject free meeting. If you've never been to a phone networking meeting, do that. hello@bradburton.biz. My PA will pick it up, Joanna. Subject free meeting. And within the next month, or 1 month of this being out, I'll take you along to a free meeting. So it costs you nothing. You've got nothing to lose. 90-minute session.
Brad, do that again, because you talk so fast. People are the right idea. Okay, so on the day that this is going to be launched, anybody that's listening to this, you're going to say, look, come along for free.
Come along for free. Like I say, what
do they have to do?
We've got a national network, so there's meetings either locally, regionally, nationally, or niche meetings that you can come along as a visitor, completely on me. All you're going to do is get your pen, email hello@bradburton.biz, and the subject, free meeting. In fact, John said a free meeting. just so we know it's from this. Yeah. And actually, if you email that, within 1 month of this being this podcast out there, you'll have a free meeting for network. Can you come and give it a look? Look, I'm not going to sell it you. I'm not that guy. Genuinely, I don't. What I do, I never sell anything. I'm a really reluctant salesperson. What I do is I sell through enthusiasm. I create the conditions where people buy. Go and have a look at it and just be really honest with yourself and say, what would this look like in 6 months' time if I knew all these individuals and I did this in 6 months' time? Give you an example. I've got a guy that I know who sells these arcade machines, Arcade Action Company. He came along to the meeting, right? He started his business off, came along to his meeting. He sold 1 in his first meeting. The second meeting he came along to, he sold 2. That's 3 units at 900 quid a piece. He's gone for 3 hours. He's been sat on this marketing, doing Facebook advertising, automation, this, that, and other. He's gone along there and he's sold 3 meetings. So three things in 3 meetings, 3 machines. He's like, oh, hang about, this is right. And that's what I'm trying to say. And do yourself a favour. Never overestimate anyone, right, based on the job title, right? Never underestimate anyone. Treat everyone the same with respect, because it's not just the person you're talking to. Think about that. It's all the people you know. You are bigger than what your business card says. You've got all your friends and everyone that you've known for years. And actually, the way that you get to my black book is by getting to me. The way you get to me is by being you and us forming a relationship. Think about it from hot, warm, and cold. When you first meet somebody, you're cold with them. As over time, you're warm and hot. My best mate's hot. If he turned up at 3 o'clock in the morning with a dead body in his boot again, I'd go and get my hacksaw and go and get the spade out to Sandbay. Right? We've already got a whole book. You turn up, John. I've got a warm relationship with you. It'd be, listen, John, I can't help you out here, mate, but I'm not going to grass on you. So do you see what I'm saying? And actually, it takes time to build these hot relationships. And so many people go along there and they rush the perfect recipe because they go along and say, networking shit, I didn't get anything from it. Yes, you did. You learned about yourself. You learned that you couldn't do it 40 seconds. You learned that you got nerves just about you when you're about to speak. You learned that somebody's a web designer just down the road from you. That's what you learned. But you go there with an empty wheelbarrow, expecting it to be filled up with business to go away. You're living in cloud cuckoo land.
That's a great point, because nobody attributes anything like to that with Facebook ads. Like, if somebody needs to buy something from a Facebook ad, so many people need to see it. right? If you use cold calling as a strategy, well, you're going to have to probably speak to 15 people to get somebody to say yes. It's the exact same networking. Exactly. However, it's far less painless.
Correct. And this is it. So I started phone networking off to make it easy for me to get appointments, because you have 3 10-minute appointments in group time. Right, appointments is where it happens. And most normal appointments, you go and get an appointment, you've got a business development person banging the phones, they'll ring someone for 8 weeks, and eventually you go, all right, and then you get your best behaviour, then you drive there for 90 minutes, 8 quid parking, 20 quid diesel, and you sit there for an hour, then 1 minute in of that hour meeting, John, you recognise something, the person opposite, you can't fucking stand you, and you've got 59 minutes of bullshit to go. And you've got 59 minutes, and then what happens is you go away and say, oh, it sounds interesting, that. Can you send me a proposal? Then you go and spend 3 hours doing a stupid proposal. You know, he's going to go to the back page, look at the back page and go, that's fucking shit, and you never hear from him again. That is the inefficient way. Imagine a world where what you could do, you could press a button and your potential target audience is right in front of you, and you have that last 10 minutes of the call, not the 8 weeks preceding it. Welcome to phone networking.
And on that note, and on that bombshell, we'll end it there. Brad Burton, thanks ever so much for being with us today.
Cheers, John Boy.